In what areas should the federal government increase spending?
Long-term care for our seniors. I've got a dad that's 95 years old and he's in long-term and it's a disaster.
Yeah, healthcare and long-term care, given the situation for the nurses, for elderly people, and you're seeing conditions are not being met or they're not up to standard. I think they need to step in and keep it to a standard.
Defense, period. Healthcare, somewhat, yes, of course, but I think defense is our number one issue that we've been sorely lacking in.
Clean water on reserves, easier access to healthcare, all this stuff that's typically first to go when we're talking about balancing a budget is the stuff that needs to be a priority.
I think getting would be nice if they built the pipeline and getting people back to work, and because there are jobs out there, but there's other ways that the government could create more jobs, especially out our way in Saskatchewan.
I can say this health area is very critical point. I heard on the radio with provincial government they are always asking for money to improve health system. I think that's a good area, and education also. Education to support youth and their education because youth are our future. For example, we Francophone, we are in minority situation here, so we need money to improve our education system. So federal government and provincial government, they need to support us, all this Francophone and Anglophone, all population to have a good system, education system for all population, minority and majority. So for me, that both area is very critical for our future.
My issue right now, and it may not be answering your question, but it's my answer. My issue right now is with the provincial governments, what the provincial governments are doing with spending on healthcare, right? Province after province, we're seeing, the medical system is in crisis. More spending needs to go into that area. In some provinces, the federal funding has been released, but the governments, the provincial governments, are not spending it. So that's where I think is the issue. And their moves towards privatization, I don't think that's the answer. I don't think that is the direction we should be going. I don't think the data supports that is what is best for the public, maybe best for for-profit corporations, but it's not what is best for the public. So I would like to see provincial governments, in some cases, use the funds that the federal government has already released to them to support our struggling medical system.
Nowhere. I think that Trudeau is out of control fiscally. I think that they just throw money at everything. So I don't know. I can't even imagine where they could spend more money.
I think that healthcare is in a crisis point. So we do certainly need to find ways to improve working conditions for healthcare workers who have left the industry. Certainly spending to create those working conditions and listening to healthcare workers is necessary. The provinces do need additional resources to make that happen. So I think healthcare is the number one place where we do need to increase spending.
And help also the elderly. I found during COVID, a lot of elderly people had a hard time with that. I mean, they live in nursing homes. It wasn't up to par. A lot of places in Canada. So I think this would be also the healthcare.
I think resources for the homeless population in Fredericton definitely need attention. Whenever they kind of settle down and get this place for themselves, they just come in and tear it down and then they're all uprooted. And then people get upset that they're kind of milling about downtown and causing trouble. And some of them do, but most people are just falling on hard times, especially with the pandemic. And it's not something that they're willing to address. So definitely there.
Healthcare, infrastructure, and community development for sure.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say.
I don't see a plan from the federal government on how to develop the economy. There are a lot of disruptor technologies coming along that are going to change the way the Canadian economy can operate and produce goods. We need to be on top of that, so we need to spend money on economic development, not necessarily the old industries and sunset industries that we've had. We need to move on and deal with all the disruptor technologies that are on the verge of being developed. That's where we need to spend money. That's what keeps the economy moving, and that's what finances the social programs.
I think with like climate change and kind of fighting against climate change, there's not enough like serious action happening there. And I think that either we should spend more or spend our money in like smarter ways with like harsher sanctions and restrictions.
You know, I think immigration's a good one to try to get more people here to Canada. I know they do a lot in that already. I want to say healthcare because it's certainly a big issue across the country, but they shouldn't allow it with no strings attached to the provinces. I know here in New Brunswick, our premier took that money, put it into general revenues to prop up his surplus. That's not what that money is intended for. It was intended to help the people of New Brunswick. So I think definitely healthcare is one of them, but the feds can't write blank checks to them because the province, at least here in New Brunswick, can't be trusted with how they're using it.